and remove all these so we don't need these on the table.
The smoking sign?
That would be so funny though, actually.
Hi, Tokyo Tops.
We're at Andrew's Airbnb today. It's called Meng.
We are in the washitsu downstairs, the smell of tatami. And actually, you know what's funny? Really long time ago, when we were thinking about doing the channel, I thought about it'd be like fun to do like certain themes based on like, or certain changing the rooms based on like what we're doing. And I was thinking like spilling tea could be in like
in a tatami room
with the tea and stuff like that.
And after 5 years, we finally
there we go.
We're in a tatami room right now.
So today we're here because lately, this is obviously an ongoing thing. This is not a new topic, blocking. But a lot of people around me, including myself, have been blocked lately. And I've been chatting with my friend about it online, and he just gets more and more and more hopeless, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I was blocked last week.
What happened?
So a guy said like, let's go to a dorai date, like, oh, I'm gonna drive you around after work.
Okay,
so
nice.
on Thursday, so he asked me out on a Tuesday on Grindr. Next day, he followed up and be like, okay, so you're still fine with the dorai date, and I say yes, like I'm really looking forward to it. And then he asked me again on Thursday morning and be like, you're still down to it, right? Yes, it's like I'm still down. And
he was supposed to pick you up that night.
Yeah. But then he blocked me in the afternoon before the date. And I kept thinking about like, oh, maybe it was my mistake because I didn't check my phone very often that day because in my mind was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to the dorai date. And so I tried to like really focus on my tasks and like finish everything, make sure I can get off on time. So maybe he was like double checking with me during like meetings and stuff. Like maybe I didn't check it and he thought like I'm gonna bail or something.
Flake out last minute.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know. That's all in my imagination.
Yeah, right?
I'm just like thinking, what did I do wrong? Because he seems like very still into it the day before and checking me even in the morning of that day.
And you've confirmed multiple
times, but I was blocked.
It reminds me of a friend of ours who that happened a lot in New York, I heard. I've actually seen people put this on their profile sometimes. Like, if I don't respond to you in 30 minutes, don't block me. Like, I just can't respond instantly. And that friend was talking about how he was traveling and he was in New York and he was traveling. So he was like there just have fun and like not always on his phone.
Hold on, is that Paris story?
It is Paris story.
Okay, so yeah, I remember that story right? Very vividly.
Yeah.
Paris didn't check his phone for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
And the person was like, oh, you think you're better than me?
Yeah.
Like you think you can just like leave me hanging or whatever? And then he blocked him.
Yeah. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
In a way, I get the anxiety of mailing someone and wanting them to write back, and you don't know if they are going to write back. And sometimes maybe you've seen that they've seen the message or something. But how many times have like I opened my phone and opened something accidentally, and like not really accidentally, but I opened a message and it's quite big, and I think, oh, I can't respond to it right now. Yeah, if I was on the other side of that and I'm like, oh my God, they're not responding. And or they've like, I can see that they've read my message. It creates anxiety, but it's like, grow the fuck up. I think we're in a shitty gay society here where like, I guess people are not giving each other benefit, that they're being mean and nasty and stuff like that. But it's like, can't we just give someone the benefit of the doubt a little bit?
I don't think it's only gay problem, it's a universal problem because lots of my girlfriends are having the same situation. They'll be like, ugh, I'm getting so frustrated because that guy didn't text me back. Sometimes they need that kind of like care and attention to prove that the guy is like interested, and they can't handle the fact that they're not their number one priority.
I actually collected, spoke with my friend, and we can put his socials up here. You can go stalk him or whatever. Cause
oh really?
Yeah.
He wants to.
I asked him. I was like, and so he like made like a summary. This is what we went on. So I have a summary from him, and these are all of our experiences here. And I do want to be clear that like I don't necessarily think this is a video shit talking Japan, but it's shit talking blocking. So I was on Tinder. On Tinder I don't pay for it, but if someone super likes you, they will tell you sometime when you're swiping. So this guy who I've actually thought was quite cute for a while, and I've seen him at the parties, we run into each other, we're in each other's orbits. It said that he super liked me. I thought it was weird, to be honest, because I have seen him and I've kind of, I think I've tapped him on Grindr or something here and there and like no response. And I think I've seen him at like parties or like events or something like that and kind of not really gone up to try and talk to him, but kind of like smile at his way and stuff like that. And he seems kind of like ignoring me. So I always thought that he had no interest in me. And then I start a conversation with him. I'm like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And then the next time I open up my Tinder, I've been blocked by him.
Did you talk to him?
So I said hello.
So you said hello, then he blocked you?
Yep.
Wait, okay. I feel like for that, we have to really dig into the mechanism of super leg. Press the button. What's this one? It's super leg.
Yeah. Super like, so I have to, in order to get 3, I have to pay 533 yen.
Oh shit, it is, you
so
have
he
to
spent
pay
money on me. I think maybe we talked about it in the unpopular video. I could be wrong, but I feel like Chris talked about how sometimes he feels people want to find out if you like them. So if he's super like me and I liked him back, it's confirmation that I like him.
It's like, yeah, buddy,
yeah. This is what the whole thing does, is it fucking plays mind, like your mind goes in all these places. It's mind games because you think, why did you block me? Why did you super like me? Why did you pay?
And there's like a thousand what if can exist in that kind of situation, right? Okay, so what's your reaction when you next time see him at the party? Are you gonna be like, oops?
Oh my god. Unmatch this. Again, blocking is going to be more of a universal thing as we discussed.
Right.
What do you think are some reasons why it can happen here? Or no, just in general, like blocking, like it's such a thing.
I have one thing to confess.
You block people.
I don't block people. I feel like blocking people is such an easy way to exit this conversation. And I'm a really kind person, honestly. I don't block people. I just kind of ignore them and don't reply.
Yeah, I think I ignore. I try to fade out.
Fade out. But I would say sometimes when I'm horny, my reaction speed and my wellness of engaging into a conversation is very different from when I'm like not horny. Sometimes I talk to a guy being like really passionate. I was like, okay, talking about meeting up. But once at the point that we are almost gonna set up a meeting leading to sex, sometimes like ちょっと冷めてしまう. Because I'm just like, oh, do I really want to go through all the trouble of like taking prep, where like douching and going out and meeting up and going to this like really boring coffee. And sometimes I feel like maybe because by using these convenient apps and online tools, that it's very easy to forget that we're talking to a real person. Because in real life, like I don't think people treat each other like that, being like, you wouldn't do that to a real person that you know in your real life.
So let's review some of these other instances, because if we just share our instances, it's not, we have to round it out a little bit more. Oh, this kind of actually connects to what you just talked about. So recent ones was that he was booking karaoke, using coupons, chatting every day, and then on the day of, suddenly all messages unread and the guy stood me up.
Yeah, I mean, we have been there, the same places many times.
Right?
Yeah, remember the last time I told you about the story that I went to Shinjuku, and he told me he's gonna be a little bit late, and then he just blocked me.
Yep.
You were saying that maybe he saw me, but then he didn't like how I look, so he just blocked me. But I'm wondering, like, do I like maybe? Yeah, I probably would like it that way. Like he just texts me, being like, "I'm sorry, like I saw you, you know, outside the station. I don't think like you're my type. So maybe like I'm just gonna head home. I'm so sorry." I think I would appreciate that more than just being blocked, because, you know, as maybe when I was in my 20s, it was really hard to accept that, okay, sure, I'm not everyone's type. But in my 30s, I kind of like matured, being like, yeah, I understand that, okay, I am who I am. I'm not everyone's type, but I do have my own audience. You know, if someone doesn't like me, it doesn't mean that like I'm ugly or I don't have any value. So I'm mature enough to believe that.
I think one of the worst things about blocking for me is I start making, I don't actively do this, I think unconsciously I start
making assumptions
and making stereotypes and generalizations. I'm now anticipating that everyone is going to block me, block you, block my friend, and treat us like shit. And that's not really a great place to be, because like I'm showing up to, you know, the game or whatever, or the date, sort of like with negativity.
But honestly, right now, I don't get upset because people block me.
Because
I'm so used to it.
Yeah, because it happens so much.
And it happens 50-50.
Yep.
I would say so far. I always have a plan B. For example, I would be like, okay, if he doesn't block me, I'm gonna
go to Pop Mart.
Yes, exactly. I know it's like not super healthy, but it's better than I'm going to those kind of what ifs, like thinking about what did I do wrong? Did I say something wrong? It's really not about you being blocked. It's really about them.
Okay, this is maybe you find this funny. I don't know.
Okay.
So when he first came to Japan, when he came here, he was getting blocked or like people disappearing on him so much that he started like getting concerned. So he's like, me getting worried when I came to Japan about people disappearing, as I thought maybe they had an accident.
Oh my God.
Or suddenly the messages were unread. And so he would be like, are you okay?
Wait, hold on. I don't know if you were there. Brought like a really cute Japanese guy. I feel like Japanese guy was just like not very comfortable hanging out with like a lot of like gay foreigners, and everyone's like so comfortable with their sexuality. In the midway, he just said like, oh, I'm sorry, like my friend got into a car accident and I have to go help him. And you know, obviously I didn't thought it was like fucking bullshit. That's definitely not true. Car accident, yeah. But then I saw a TikTok where like an Instagram story, and the gaijin, I mean not the gaijin, he's Japanese, so like he lived in Japan his whole life, and he also did like a video on like Japanese. Yeah, like do you want to see? Sure. Oh my God.
Yes, I like it too. Yeah. Sorry, my friend called.
もしもし魚民全然いける。普通に、適当に巻くわ。
じゃあ待ってね。I'm so sorry. My friend car. I have to go help her. I'm so sorry.
This is so fucking real. Not only guys, but like girls. I mean, not only girls, but like guys also use that excuse.
You know, when we were early 20s, it was very common on TV to do this as well. The idea was that you would have like a backup friend ready when you're on a date, and if the date was really bad, you would like send them an SOS.
And they would call you.
You'd
be like, okay,
yeah. What? Oh, you had an accident? Yeah. That was even, 15, 20 years ago when, like back in the day, we all knew it was crap. Like nothing has changed. A guy having a condom accident with me, neither of us taking PrEP. He's taking a rapid test, HIV test, 5 weeks after he last had unprotected sex. And instead of taking another test the following day, he blocked me. So essentially,
wait, what does they
had sex. They were using a condom, but the condom broke.
Yeah.
And neither of them were taking PrEP. I guess my friend, what he wanted to do is like, he's worried, right? He wanted the guy to get a test to figure out if he was HIV negative, and then let him know to like calm his anxiety. But then instead, the next day, he just blocked
me.
him.
Okay, him. Okay, here's the thing, guys. I feel like you shouldn't enforce your foreign standard on those kind of things. I feel like Japanese mindset is very different. Like people don't really talk about like
agree
like when was your last time check?
Yeah.
Like people don't ask this kind of question. It's just like really offensive and very hard for them to react. So I'm saying this for your own favor, like for your own benefit. Just keep it to yourself. Everything, just keep it to yourself. Like do your own part, but like without giving too much stress on the Japanese people, because usually they don't align with your standards.
So understand, that this might be your foreign lens on the situation, and that it might be.
If you find yourself having a STI and you have sex with them, don't tell them. And don't ask, don't tell.
I understand where you're going with this conversation, especially with this comment here, is that it totally probably made him feel comfortable and he didn't know what to do and how to react, and was probably something he didn't want to talk about. And so I'm going to escape by just doing that. Having said that, not to talk about, I don't think the answer, I think it is not talked about here, but I don't think the answer necessarily is to forever not talk about it. This is another topic.
No, you
That's
should
another
just keep it to yourself. Like
another
just
topic.
you should take your prep, take your doxy prep.
That's why syphilis, I think my personal belief is why syphilis is so huge at the moment in Japan.
But by telling them, you're gonna give them the impression that okay, I got syphilis from this gaijin.
Yeah. Well, that's
Right?
they also,
yeah.
then we're gonna have
and they
it.
not realizing maybe he is the one passing out the syphilis to you.
I half agree with you. I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I think I think more than that, it's very complicated. It's food for thought. I don't know exactly how to answer because I think I'm in the middle. Like, I do think that it is kind of him enforcing his foreign standards on Japanese people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do think that there is room for things to change.
Okay, here's the thing I don't understand with the situation. Like, why are you forcing that guy to take a test to make yourself feel comfortable? Why don't you just take a test?
So if let's say that happened to me, right? I would have to wait 3 months to get, I think that's the thought process, to get a definitive answer, right? And then if that guy got a test, even though theoretically maybe the test didn't pick up his positive status, he had it, I think at the time at least it would be at that moment when you had sex.
But still, it doesn't confirm that
fully
you're
confirm. I think it's more of an anxiety thing.
Okay, I think your friend was
You think
asking
he's
too
wrong?
much. Yeah. Just
And
do your own part.
But maybe that's it. Maybe a lot of these reasons why we're blocking is from the other person's perspective, is that we are being too needy.
Yeah, anyways, there's no solutions to this. I feel like we just tell you if you are struggling with being blocked, it's universal, it's not your problem, and we all have that kind of experiences. So if you have any fun, outrageous blocking where you have blocked someone, share the reason.
It'd be interesting to see the blockers like kind of stand up for themselves to be like, this is why I'm blocking, you know what I mean? Because maybe they have some actually really good reasons that make sense.
I went on some dates this year, but a lot of people reached out through Instagram. And I feel like Instagram, unlike Grindr, is more like they kind of have a full identity presented on internet. And some people are viewers. No, I shouldn't have said that because I'm encouraging people to DM me, but like I don't respond to all the DMs.
And then you're gonna block them.
No, I don't block people.
It's hard to block on Instagram.
You know, like a lot of people, Andrew, I think you're being too nice because I've been accused on the comment section. People being like, oh, whenever I see Andrew, I text him on Grindr. He's always like, have a fun chat with me. Meng on the hair, I'm like,